is the Vintage RPG Podcast, your source for the best in classic and contemporary RPGs. With your hosts, Hambone and Stu.
Welcome to the Vintage RPG Podcast, coming at you again from the clubhouse hidden somewhere in the swamps of New Jersey. I'm John Hambone McGuire, and with me, as always, is the founder and publisher of Unwinnable. We have a potpourri episode today with a little bit of everything, so I don't really have a joke. So, of course, Stu Horvath is here with me, but I will say this. Here is a killer prank that I experienced at a party once, and stay with me. It has to do with the actual theme of the episode. I would not recommend it nowadays because people are like hella allergic to like everything, and I'm sure people were hella allergic to everything back then, but we got away with it. But I remember when Terra chips became a thing and everyone started getting Terra chips at party. So you put out a bunch of chip balls and put potpourri in the bowl that you think the Terra chip is, and just wait and see what happens. Because listen, in some ways it's kind of hard to tell the difference, especially in the dark. But don't do that, folks. It's probably not a good idea or safe.
Yeah. Spinning out of our Far Side episode of Brown Corduroy and the Far Side, I feel like potpourri, also a staple of 80s existence, feels appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, this was like the very early 90s when this happened. And I never forgot it because you're watching people eat it. And at first, they're kind of very not sure. You know, well, the 90s, the late 90s were a wild time. So, yeah, potpourri episode. We're going to talk about some random shit today. What do you got?
So I am still angry about a movie I watched, and I need to talk it out. I typed it out with some people, but I need to actually talk it out. I'm so angry about this movie, and I'm going to spoil the hell out of it. It's from 2023. If you want to go watch it before I spoil the heck out of it, go for it. We'll be here waiting. And you're back. Hey, congratulations. Now you're as angry as I am. Well, I guess I have to say the name of the movie before that joke to work. The movie is called Loop Track, and it's a New Zealand sort of small horror movie about a guy who goes on a hike. He's basically having, I don't know if people use this terminology anymore, but for the sake of just the fiction of it, he's having a nervous breakdown of some sort. I don't know. They don't ever really explain what's pressing on his mind, but he's in a bad shape, and he's decided to go to this thing called the Loop Track, which is like the largest natural hiking trail in New Zealand, in which you go in one direction for like 3 or 4 days hiking, and then you come out at the same car park, right? And there's huts along the way. And I don't know, you just get the sense that he's completely unbalanced, and like he might be going into the woods to do something bad. He really doesn't want to meet anybody on the trail. He actually goes to great pains to avoid people. He like goes off the trail to kind of come up in front of them, and he hides and does all sorts of sort of unusual behavior to just avoid people. He's also made aware early on in the movie that there's traps off the trail for hunting goats, which are a problem. And I guess maybe ferrets too, like weasels and stuff are a problem.
No, man, I can attest to this. If you've ever dated a girl who got a ferret as a pet, big problem. Big problem right there.
Well, and they make a big deal of the weasels are invasive species that are eating all the flightless bird eggs in New Zealand. So that's the basic setup. He goes off and he eventually winds up with this guy, Nicky, who is like just aggressively friendly and helpful and obnoxious, and just refuses to not hang out with this guy who really wants to be alone. I think that guy's name is Ian. And then they eventually meet up with this couple on their honeymoon. They spend the night in one of the overnight cabins together. Ian is just getting more and more nervous and upset. The first one is fine. The second one has when they arrive, there's two hikers packs. And this guy is just not meant to be hiking. He's like doughy and like he's like got terrible blisters after the first couple of hours. Like he's just miserable he's not a hiker. So like he's really out of his element. They get to the second day at the second hut, and there's these unattended packs, backpacks there. a pink one and a lavender one. So they're like, oh, well, there's people who are going to come back. And nobody comes back. So in the middle of the night, he can't sleep, and he's just looking at those packs, and he goes through the packs, and he finds a camera, and he looks at the camera, and he sees his buddy Nicky in back of one of the distance of one of the pictures in this camera, and it freaks him out, and he accuses Nicky of killing the girls, and then the girls show up in the next morning, and it's like this whole thing, and it's like this psychodrama thing is playing out. He's obviously having a breakdown. He's like being difficult with everybody. He's meeting all the people are actually really nice to him and trying to help him through it, get him through this hike. And increasingly, the interpersonal problems are becoming apparent. Up until this point, actually a pretty good movie. I genuinely didn't know what was going on. He periodically looks behind him and thinks that somebody's following them on the path, a dark shape. And I was just really interested in how this was going to play out and dovetail with all the interpersonal stuff. Oh, God.
Here we go.
Strength, man. So eventually I don't remember exactly how he burned all of his bridge. They get together. The three companions are just like, you got to go. Nicky's going to walk you back. And they do. They leave. I guess he's so freaked out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nicky brings him back. And then it cuts to the couple who are hanging out at the hut. And then Ian comes running back being like, it ate him. It ate him. And they're just like, oh, he's gone and totally bonkers now. And there's a confrontation. And then the woman gets dragged off into the forest by something unseen. And her husband and Ian are just like, what the heck was that? They find half of her in the forest. The husband thinks it's Ian, and they have a fight. And basically, long story short, they are being stalked by a 10-foot flightless bird with a dagger-like beak.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a problem with the idea of making a movie about terror birds. I like terror birds. They're a fun D&D monster. I didn't even mind the design of this bird, even though it's clearly a big rubber big bird thing. It was such a... There's a moment where you see it in the shadows before he really starts to like lose his mind. And I thought, oh my God, is that a terror bird? And I emailed my buddy Oren, my monster consultant. And I was like, have you seen Loop Track? He's like, I haven't. I saw it. I haven't thought about it in 2 years. All I remember is the basic setup and the reveal. And I was like, is the reveal that it's a fucking terror bird? And he's like, yep. And it was just like, for the rest of the last half hour of the movie, it's just me like typing in all caps at Oren about how I can't. The thing about it is, it's not the fact that it's a terror bird that is a bother to me. The fact of the matter is that New Zealand is a small place where the characters are constantly talking about how there's no big animals on New Zealand. How the hell has a giant bird and its mate been in this forest that has posted trails and huts and stuff and remained undetected until now when it decides to start eating some people? And Oren's like, well, maybe it came from someplace else. It's like, where? New Zealand's not that big. Like, somebody would have gotten eaten by these things before. It just doesn't make any sense. And it pushed so far and so hard. Like, honestly, if they showed me a downed spacecraft from which the terror birds had emerged, I would have had an easier time with this movie. It just made me so angry that 2/3 of the way through this movie, the filmmakers expected me to just swallow this. And it was so bad, Hambone. So he wrestles it, he chokes one out. And meanwhile, like it like woodpeckers some guy's head to pieces. Like and then he gets chased through, and like even the ending, like he's the last guy standing. He makes it out. Texas Chainsaw Massacre style, he gets a car pulled over. He's like lost his pants. He's got like a bloody shirt that's torn open in the back. He looks a gigantic mess. And like the window rolls down and you just see him and he says, help. And like, it's a great ending for like a really crummy movie. Really pissed off about it. It's been days. Every morning I wake up and I think, God, I watched Loop Track 2 days ago and I'm still angry about it.
And how long was this movie?
It's like an hour and a half.
Oh, and was it subbed or dubbed?
I could understand their spoken language.
Holy shit. Yeah, I mean that's always tough because it does feel like conceptually it's something that you're enjoying, right? And then you feel like the filmmakers are like, how are we going to do this? Like they get so far in the idea, they're like, well, what if it was this? And it becomes like two different movies at a certain point.
Yeah.
Because it's to a degree very psychological what's happening.
Yeah.
And you think the movie is going very specifically one way, and then they're like, oh, fooled you, monster movie. And like, well, where the hell did that come from, man? Like, well, yeah. So we definitely do not recommend that movie.
No. The other problem with it is that it was otherwise like a pretty good buildup. Like I was invested. I actually hated all the characters initially, but like there was a moment where I was like, oh no, I get this. It's kind of cool. And I want to see where this goes. And then it went awful, but what are you going to do?
Well, I got something I want to mention real quick. If you go to explorersdesign.com, I heard about this through our friend Adam Vass because I had like questions about graphic design when I was kind of dipping my toe in the water. He said, oh, check this out. A lot of great resources on explorersdesign.com. I read it. I actually subscribe to it. You don't have to subscribe to it, but I will tell you it's a cool subscription to have. You learn a lot from it. There's things that are free, like the Affinity Studio First Impressions, which is what I want to talk about today. And then there's stuff that you're going to learn on the other side of the paywall. But for a person who's in design, the way that this is written is pretty great. The person who does this is named Clayton, and it is a consistent voice when it comes to graphic design. And it is a voice that is... honestly, the writing style is very cool because it's kind of like you're having a conversation with a buddy, and that's like the highest compliment I can give you because I don't feel like I'm in over my head reading any of these articles. But as a person who is dipping their toe in graphic design, starting to design books and stuff like that, like I was kind of shaken by Affinity getting picked up by Canva, and then them not really giving enough information to clarify anything. And then there's still some things I'm so concerned about and things that I'm not sure about, but the article Affinity Studio First Impressions over on explorersdesign.com is fantastic because it put a lot of my things that I was worried about at ease by reading the article. And, now I have like a starting point to figure out like where I am going forward with Affinity Studio, which is great because, theoretically for people getting into it, like Adobe is nuts. And there's a lot of things not to like about Adobe and the business practices, but Affinity, most people have a Canva account now anyway, so it's absolutely free through Canva. So, it's worth checking out. But if you have more questions about it, definitely check out explorersdesign.com. Really, really great resource for burgeoning graphic designers and people who are already going at it day to day in the trenches.
There you go. All right. So I'm a big fan of the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society. H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, which I don't know if anybody else calls it Hipplehus, but I do. I hope other people call it Hipplehus. They made the Masks of Nyarlathotep deluxe handouts box that was like $100 and full of amazing pieces of paper. They made several artifacts, which I have on my shelf. I have a giant replica megalodon tooth with some Innsmouth themed scrimshaw and a bas relief of some deep ones, some stones that you could throw into the ocean to summon some deep ones. They're actually all very deep one themed.
Hold on one second. That's how you pronounce it? A bas relief?
Yeah.
God damn, I've been saying it wrong all these years, but go on.
Oh yeah, the S is silent, I think. You learn something new every day.
I mean, this show is very informative.
For you. I can't imagine the audience.
Go on.
So they did the wallet, the Arkham wallet, which is like a legit leather billfold wallet that filled with like cool handouts from 1920s Arkham. And this October they released the Spark Devil. I literally have just gotten this. I have not really opened it, interfaced with it. It's a lengthy adventure. I don't know what it is about. There is a cool picture of like a demon made out of electricity on it though. And the box is enormous. In part because it contains a prop radio. And I don't know how to describe it. I guess they were able to make a battery out of malted oats back in the day.
Whoa. Okay.
And that's what this thing does. There is a giant like cylinder of Puritan malted white oats replica, and it has, two connectors and a wire, and you could connect it to a Bluetooth speaker, a custom Bluetooth speaker, and that has, I believe, preloaded into it a number of audio handouts for the adventure. I had to get this thing just to see what this was all about.
Yeah, you got to pay to see it, of course.
Yeah. But on top of that, so what else does it come with, Hambone? It comes with, this is the side of the box. I literally opened it up, looked at this stuff, and it was just like, I'm too busy right now. I can't mess with this. And there's also another hiccup, which I'll tell you in a second. Among the 30 deluxe props and handouts contained in this box,
30?
A 1930s style prop radio with fully functioning custom Bluetooth speaker, a 28-page brochure from the Bates Electropathic Sanitarium. Oh boy. I guess there's some electroshock therapy going on. Large format maps of 1920s Providence, Narragansett Bay, and Butler Hospital. Letters from Nikola Tesla. Newspaper clippings, photos, and much more. The one that I skipped is a fascinating 300-page hardback Miskatonic University monograph. So it is literally a hardcover book that is basically a mythos tome.
Mm-hmm.
That they have created. I have no idea what's in it because it's sealed by the staff of the library. There's a literal seal on the book preventing me from opening it. The idea is that the players get to open it during play.
That's awesome.
So I have absolutely no idea what is in there, and I'm going to preserve it for I have to play this. I have to run it. Like it's got a radio and a book, and it's just those fellas just really go all out with their stuff. I really appreciate it. And it's just a high quality, a level of craftsmanship and enthusiasm that I just find really, really great.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love it when people find new and interesting ways to bring things to the table. Like I remember buying a massive box for you and bring it back from Gen Con.
Yeah.
One of the things that they made. And I remember when you popped it open, you showed me all the stuff that's inside. I was like, wow, this is very, very impressive, and it's impressive in the creation of it, sure, and the design is great too, but just in the attention to detail and like the love that's poured into those details. Like I think that they make fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm unsurprised by this, but I am surprised by what it actually is because it's bananas.
The sudden death of a local workman leads his friends and family into a strange inquiry featuring madness, murder, and power. I wonder if they mean power in the metaphorical sense or the electrical sense. Using the enclosed deluxe props, investigators will untangle a dark mystery that makes extensive use of real history and locations to confront an unspeakable power from another dimension before it's too late.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is the sort of thing that is just like, I love it. You can't, it's such a niche. You can tell that the box is hand assembled. Like the whole thing is just like, it's a labor of love, but man, I'm glad they do it.
That's badass, man. I don't really have much to talk. I mean, I haven't done a lot this week. I've just been kind of heads down working on stuff, but I will say that, we talk about like the scene and we talk about like, the scenes that we came up in and the things that we're a part of now. And, I got to see one of my favorite bands, Hot Water Music, in Rutherford, New Jersey.
Oh, over at the Williams Center?
At the freaking Williams Center, which also, did you know there's a record store there too?
I did. I haven't checked it out yet, but I've heard it's pretty cool.
It's records and books.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. But I sit here and I think about it like the last time I saw a concert at the Williamson. It was like a battle of the bands in like the 90s. And I think maybe they had like some like local bands playing there like in the early 2000s when like the scene was hopping. But, often I tend to meet younger people who, ask me what it was like, in the halcyon days of the early 2000s. And you know what, man? Seeing all the people that I saw at the concert and some people that I haven't seen in a long time, people that I was friendly with, people I knew tangentially, people I just recognized from bands, it really brought me back to a place of gratitude because I remember when you couldn't throw a rock without seeing a place where a band was playing. And we're talking about VFW halls, we're talking about basements, we're talking about school campuses, we're talking about parks and skate parks. And like, it was really an embarrassment of riches in hindsight when I look back at it. But, it definitely made me appreciate the tabletop RPG scene a lot more because, I am involved with a bunch of different creators, dudes in the sewer rats, other people outside of it as well. And, a scene really is what you make of it. And I think it's so important to like recognize in the moment the good things that you have and try to nurture them as best you can and really create a cool and welcoming scene for everyone to come over and hang out and play. Because that's really the important things about tabletop RPGs and, subsequently the punk scene from back in the day. So I cannot recommend enough getting out and going to see your favorite bands. It's also a good way to check out new bands. There's a band from Buffalo, New York. They're called Spaced. They're a hardcore band that I'm not really super into hardcore, but they were fantastic because otherwise I fall into holes where I don't really listen to new music unless my goddaughter's like, oh, look at this. It's new, like, Olivia Rodrigo or something. And then you just end up listening to girl pop all summer. And it happens. And it's okay. But yeah, dudes, check it out. Go to see bands. Support your local game shops. Roll some dice. Make some friends. Make it nice.
Have you seen Killer of Killers?
The animated Predator?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. That was friggin' awesome.
It's like a secret movie. Like, people legit do not know that it exists. And it's amazing to me because it's so good.
They just dropped it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they kind of announced it when they announced the new Predator movie back a while back, but then didn't do any more promotion for it. It just it got dumped on, if I remember correctly, Hulu is where I saw it.
Yeah. I watched it recently and I was blown away because it's that freaking good. I don't want to say that it picks up where Prey left off because it doesn't really, but it's the same. Who is it? Trachtenberg?
Yep.
Yeah. His whole Predator universe. It's great. It made me want a Predator RPG because this one I'm not going to spoil, but y'all should watch it. It's sort of like a merging of Assassin's Creed and Predator. And there's like an overarching thing that happens in it that's really great. And I can see the potential for a role-playing game, even if it's just like a limited thing, like a cinematic style thing. The way the alien cinematic scenarios are, I would hook, line, and sinker. Free League, you should get that license if you can, and just merge it right in. Like Predator Badlands seems to be merging Alien and Predator together in interesting ways. I'm very excited to see that movie.
I mean, dude, they have a consistent person at the helm with Dan Trachtenberg. I loved Prey.
Prey was great.
And I love Killer of Killers even more. And I'm actually going to go to the theater to go see this new Predator movie, which I think is number one at the box office at the time we read this.
Good.
They crushed it. And that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people who watched Alien Earth. They kind of took umbrage with some of the choices that they made because it was more about everyone else and what was going on there and other weird aliens than it was the xenomorph, which showed up and they used it in a very interesting way. But ultimately, for me, like, I remember reading the old Dark Horse comics, like it was more in line with what would have happened had the aliens come back to Earth at the end of like one of those movies, of the early movies, that it would like anything that's happened since. Like, and I think it really is a better look at, the tomfuckery that these corporations do and what they're willing to do to get the job done. And also, like I always said, like, you always see like the xenomorph, you always see like the predators, and forgive me, I know the technical name of the predator. I'm not going to try to pronounce it here.
Yauta?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
I could probably spell it better than I could pronounce it. But they can't be the only aliens out there in the universe that are like dangerous and weird. And that's what I enjoyed about Alien Earth. And they renewed it for a second season, so other people had to enjoy it as well. But yeah, there's some really like weird choices that they make in there, some really cool stuff that they make in there. And yeah, it's actually, yeah, I think it ends really well. So I'm happy that it makes a second season. But yeah, definitely, like, I think go see this movie because I'm going to go see this movie and I know it's going to be a badass time.
It looks great. I took the kid to see Tron Ares because it was a PG-13 movie. The trailers were and it shouldn't have been a PG-13 movie. I have no idea why Tron Ares was. Maybe they cussed. I don't know. But because the trailers were the toughest part, because like I was getting R-rated trailers in the PG-13 movie, so like Jer had to cover his eyes a couple times, and it was funny. But he was already, when the Badlands trailer started, he was like all ready to like just like cover his eyes, maybe his ears, and I was like, no, but you can watch this one. And he was just like, yes. He was like, I want to see this movie. I was like, well, I got to see how intense it is. But maybe we'll see it in the movie theater. Now he's just like, can I watch the other Predator stuff? And I'm like, no, you can't. Absolutely not. Like even Killer of Killers, I think is like, oh man, that is a violent ass cartoon.
Yeah, no, and also like the original Schwarzenegger Predator, definitely not be showing him the Predator.
Yeah,
2
like
with
they're
Danny Glover.
just, and like I wouldn't the other two movies I'm not really a fan of.
Oh, what, the Adrian Brody one?
Predators, yeah, and then the Predator. Yeah.
Oh, the Predator wasn't great. That was, and it sucks because it was Shane
Just
Black.
a mess
and
up.
it just,
Just a.
yeah.
But
I
think Trachtenberg is really like doing something cool with it that I think like I could easily picture it translated to a role playing game in a very interesting way, and it all reminds me too of that one. There was a movie a while back. God, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a Viking, and it was versus like a space alien that like he interpreted it as a dragon, and it had like a tail that was like a laser that cut through things, and it was sort of like it was a retelling of Beowulf with like Viking versus crashed alien monster, and like it was really cool, and it sort of Trachtenberg stuff sort of reminds me of that in a way. Speaking of aliens, I got one last thing. I picked up the first volume of Scarlet Traces. Have you heard of this?
I have not.
I have a small office, but I keep things far away from the microphone sometimes. Scarlet Traces is a 2000 AD series by Ian Edgington and Disraeli. Big fan of Disraeli's art for a long time. So volume 1 starts with a retelling of War of the Worlds, and then the second part is a really interesting sort of experiment in what would happen if the British Empire survives the War of the Worlds and backwards engineers all that alien technology.
Okay.
And it's really great. It's very much anti-colonial, anti-imperial, like it is. It's taking all of the stuff that like War of the Worlds is a very much, it's a musing on colonialism and war. And it like Scarlet Traces is sort of extrapolating from that in a really strong way. And there's some really interesting choices in it. It's not that old. I think that it originally came out in 2000, in the aughts sometime. Looks like it was some sort of motion comic online, published both online and in Judge Dredd magazine, starting in 2002. Over here, it came out through Dark Horse Comics, starting in 2003. It's great though. Disraeli's art is like cartoony, and it sort of undercuts the seriousness of it. But the second story is more of a spy mystery than you would maybe expect, and it has there's some cool Sherlock Holmes and Dracula references in it. I'm keen to get the second and third volume, and I guess the fourth volume is coming out soon, maybe next year. But it's good. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I'm interested to see how it goes forward. I always think of War of the Worlds as sort of a closed story. I think that like the book and the 50s movie are both really good at like just like being what they are and not like I've never thought, gosh, I wish I had more War of the Worlds content. Like I
Yeah,
don't
right.
care.
Jeez.
It's not something that makes me want more. But then Scarlet Trace is interesting because it does make me want more, and it has like I feel like War of the Worlds kind of crops up in weird places in role playing games. Like it's an option for a campaign frame in Aftermath, the original post apocalyptic role playing game, and there's Martians in Cthulhu by Gaslight. But like none of that that always just seems like we gotta include it, people
Yeah,
will
yeah,
complain
yeah.
if we don't put it in. But this actually seems like an actually genuinely interesting thing that builds on the material without like just being slavish to the material. And I think that this is something that I could see developed into a role playing game or could fuel role playing games in a really interesting way. Just the first volume. I know it apparently gets a little bit weirder as it goes on, and I can't speak to that because I'm still waiting on the other ones to arrive. But it's cool. I like it.
When DC came out with the Absolute series for like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, now they got Green Lantern, they got Flash in there. Like it's its own kind of world. It's not necessarily an Elseworlds retelling. It's just kind of like new versions of the old things. But and there was like Batman who like his bat symbol you could turn into an axe, and it was like I'm like I don't know if this is gonna be like some weird like edgy stuff. But I ended up reading Absolute Batman and I loved it. I thought they did a really cool take on Batman, did a really cool take on Superman. If you have not read Absolute Wonder Woman, go out and buy the trade. It is one of the best things I've read all year. The direction that they took Wonder Woman and the things that they did, the mythology of it is really a beautiful story, and it's actually like a beautiful story about like the relationship of a mother and her daughter and trying to protect her, like to prepare her to protect herself from the world of man. Which I can't speak highly enough about Absolute Wonder Woman, that first trade, but there is Absolute Batman Annual #1. Have you heard about this?
No.
So do you remember the stories about how like Frank Miller kind of had that? And again, this is all like things that I've heard from a friend, heard from a friend who heard from a friend who, how finally kind of had a falling out with like DC because he was going to do Batman, and then like he came back all those years later. Basically after 9/11, Frank Miller was like going to do like wanted to do Batman versus Al Qaeda, where Batman just like goes in and just goes sick house on Al Qaeda. And DC is like, whoa, like this is kind of crazy, this, for so many reasons. Like, and you could only imagine how Frank Miller writing a book about that after 9/11 would shake out, right? So in 2025, the person who is writing Absolute Batman, it's an annual. It's a one shot. It's probably hard to find. It's super out of print, but it's Batman versus an entire sect of Nazis, the white nationalists. And it's basically that Frank Miller idea, but like in a very palatable way. Dude, like Batman, because this is Absolute Batman. Absolute Batman will kill dudes. He goes fucking sick house on a set. And like that's it, the entire book. Nazis move into this area. They beat up some dude. He goes out and he goes fucking crazy. Like there is a 2-page spread in here, and I'm going to spoil it for you because some people you might not be able to find it. I think it's like sold out everywhere. You might have to get it digitally, but like there's a riot going on, and this one dude throws up the sign, and as he's saying "White Pow," the next is a 2-page spread of a Batman breaking his fucking arm at the middle. Holy shit, guys! Like, for all the feelings that we have collectively as people do all this like crazy fucking nutty Nazi stuff, and we have to watch it unfold for our eyes. It's something very cathartic about watching Batman beat up a whole bunch of Nazis. Just like with there's things that I'm not going to spoil, but as I'm reading it, I'm like, one, I'm shocked that DC let this out into the world, because there are no punches pulled. The message is very, very clear. But yeah, Absolute Batman Annual #1. If you want to watch Batman go sick house on a bunch of Nazis, be the best $6 you ever spent.
Maybe I'll find it at the comic shop tonight. I should getting back to Predator real quick. My old friend Ethan Sachs is doing a signing. I mean, it's going to be over by the time you hear this, but tonight he's doing a signing up at is it East Coast Mags in Montclair?
Oh, he's over at East Side Mags.
East Side Mags. I want it to be East Side Comics because but it's East Side Mags. He did the Prelude comic for Predator Badlands. So we're going up there to see him and get it signed.
Fantastic. Love it.
Maybe I'll get that Batman annual if they have it on the shelf.
Yeah. I'm looking at it online. It looks like it's like sold out everywhere. It came out. I want to say it came out like 2 weeks ago, but I a little slow on the draw for me. But I read things through the app for DC and for Marvel, and I buy indies. But that one, I'm like, I'm gonna go buy that one. That's it's people have been posting about it online for like days and being like, because it's not like he does not just beat them up. Oh no. Oh, he goes much further. So yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I think that was a good riff. We even brought it back to role playing games a couple times.
Yeah. We did it. We're the best. Number one.
Yeah.
So this was another amazing episode of the Vintage RPG Podcast. Steve, where can the people find you on the internet?
They can find me at vintagerpg.com. Usually in a Hambone will be like, and there's this Great West Marches campaign that I'm running. We actually had the last session of that for a little while. It's we're on hiatus. I have to do some work on it. We need to, because it's a play test. I want to publish this thing, so I need to sort of rework some stuff and tidy it up. So very exciting ending. That was very cathartic. Maybe I killed one of the oldest remaining characters in the campaign, and yeah. But so we are still doing stuff with that. If you join now, you can contribute to what it will be in a month or two. We're going to do some play-by-post events and going to build a psionic system and tweak our downtime. There's a whole bunch of stuff. The community is all going to contribute. So if you want to get in on some unorthodox West Marches action that doesn't actually involve traditional D&D play for the next few months, now's the time to do it. $10 will get you in the door.
So is this like a Leonard Skinner thing where like the only person who survived the plane crash is still in the band is like the one guitar player, but it's still Leonard Skinner? Like, or is there no original members, no original party members left?
No, I think there are no original party members left as of the guy getting snatched by the Rock. He was the last. That was such a horrible thing. And this guy, I think, was the oldest character. After that, it's Justin's third character.
He's doing his level best. He's trying.
Yeah.
And dying.
So yeah, that's the most recent. The most recent oldest character has perished.
Jesus. You can find me across the internet at John McGuire RPG. You can buy my books at hamandeggpublishing.com. Please buy my books. It'd be very cool of you. If you like the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Your reviews really do help other listeners to find us. If you really like the show, why not become a patron? Patreon.com/vintagerepg. You just heard about what's going on with Stu's West Marches campaign. I've got the ongoing 1-900 fantasy thing going on and other games happening as well. We got a killer Discord community we'd love for you to be a part of. Patreon.com/vintagerepg. So for Stu Horvath, I'm John Hambone McGuire. May the dice always roll in your favor. Thanks for listening. The Vintage RPG Podcast is a ham-fisted production. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Schaefer Brown. Edited by R. Alex Murray. Check us out at vintagerepg.com.